B1 brothers and sisters, welcome to Blacklogic. And today we're going to talk about the true crime in America because we understand for quite some time, this country has always labeled foundational Black Americans as the criminal class in America. And even though those people who operate in the system of white supremacy are the biggest criminal in the entire universe and entire world, but there's other criminals who may be considered minorities that are part of the large crime rings in America. They're the ones who are doing majority of the major crimes. So when they painted the picture of someone stealing a television outside of a Best Buy or something like that, which is a petty crime, versus organized crime rings that have been operating in America, and a lot of these people are from the southern border, and some of them are even illegal immigrants. But all the while they continue to indoctrinate us to our lowest class, our 1%, our Pookies and Ray Rays, and paint a picture as that is all foundational Black Americans here in the US, which we know that isn't true. We are the moral compass of this country. We are the ethical navigators of this country. So it's time out that we continue to be blamed for every single thing that occurs in America. That's the issue here. So I don't know if you guys are aware, I've been watching the immigration Senate bill for quite some time. And I guess the big question for most people is, why did the Republicans block the legislation? We already know why the Republicans blocked the legislation is because Donald Trump told them to. They understand he's going to be the president of the United States of America. He's the Republican front runner, and everybody is fighting for jobs. Everybody is fighting for position and power. So that was that about. So there was no big surprise. That was no big surprise. But on one hand, I understand that there were some things in the bill, family, and I pointed those things right here on Blacklogic about the billions of dollars still funding to Israel to continue the conflict in Gaza by the way of Palestine, as well as billions of dollars going to Ukraine to continue support and assist in fighting Russia for whatever reasons. Billions of dollars. And that was the main reason that Donald Trump was talking about and not, supporting this bill. But does that hurt or help America? We have already funded Israel, as well as Ukraine, as well as Afghanistan, as well as Yemen, as well as Ethiopia, and all the humanitarian aid that America gives out to all these different countries. Does that make a huge difference that we give them a couple of more billions of dollars if we can stop the crisis at the border? You see what I'm saying? It's like, okay, we've given them billions of dollars. I know you just shouldn't keep forking out billions of dollars, but my thing is at this point, what is the big emergency? Is it continue funding countries you've already been funding, or stopping a mass migration, a mass invasion of America? You see what I'm saying? There has to be a sacrifice. No, we're going to get this bill right. And here's another thing. They can do vetoes and write a bill that contradicts another bill. They can do that. They can come and revisit this later. They can come and amend the bill, right? They have all these things that they can do. So stop playing games. If they wanted to secure the border, they would. And this is why I tell you guys, now a lot of you guys may be conservative. You may be Republicans or Democrats or liberals, whatever the case may be. That is why I don't affiliate when it comes to choosing or being under a political party. Because your decisions become very convoluted and your thinking is based upon the indoctrination of your political party. And I think if people voted on policy versus party, then we have a much better country. And don't let people fool you that they'll say, oh yeah, I do vote on policy versus party, but they don't even understand that they're being manipulated by themselves so they don't sound like a fool, that they're just voting because they're a Democrat or they're voting because they're a Republican, okay? because we understand that the legislation would have brought about some significant change to the immigration law. This kind of change we haven't seen in decades. But we got oppositions from the House and none other than the GOP presidential candidate, Donald J. Trump. He definitely played a role in blocking this bill, family. He definitely played a role in blocking this bill. Before I go too deep into this conversation, into this broadcast, family, this is going to be a good one, family. This is going to be a good one. I'm going to expose a lot of things here. But before, in honor of this great month that this white supremacist country has allowed us to have, okay, we're honoring Frederick Douglass. Today is his birthday. And I know all of you guys know he was an abolitionist. He was a state official, okay? From the very beginning, he abolished slavery he abolished slavery as a former slave, Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey, okay? Honor and grace to that brother. And I have one more thing to cover here. Have you guys heard about this? I just have to cover it very quickly. I'm not going to even really talk about it, but listen in, please.
It's a culture with a multi-billion-dollar economy, but we haven't harnessed the power of it yet to make transformative change in legislation.
The Black Music Action Coalition is an advocacy organization that's committed to utilizing the cultural capital of Black music to influence the music industry and greater society on the issues of racial justice and equity through policy, philanthropic, and educational initiatives.
What you are watching is the maturation of the culture. You are watching us come together and take something that came from nothing, that came out of despair, that came out of being disenfranchised, right? It came out of a political system that used us, but we didn't use. Now you're seeing the effects of that culture growing up.
We know that hip-hop builds bridges across our communities. And I'm thrilled to be part of a task force that supports that bridge building.
By focusing on congressional policies that safeguard the rights and interests of artists, producers, and fans alike, we will not only honor hip-hop's significant contribution to our cultural landscape, but also ensure that its vibrant legacy is preserved and respected.
I don't know, family. Listen. I got to tell you guys some stuff. This is utterly ridiculous. This right here is utterly ridiculous, Jamal Bowman. This is stupid. They're calling this, did you guys know about this? Look at this. The Hip Hop Task Force. Let me tell you what's going to go on with this. As I told you before, family, I'm going to be quick here. They're going to make this a federal task force. This is a way how they're going to foothold inside of Black culture and control the music within. Now, some of you may say, well, the music needs to be controlled, right? But we understand hip hop started as a music genre of revolution. It was, this is the way we communicated revolutionary power through our music. So that's how hip hop started. Now, when all these other groups of people from all these other ethnics start to come in, and a lot of these people look like us, so we thought them was us, and how they change the culture of hip hop, the ratchetness. You know, you had I was about to say Public Enemy. I think it's Public Enemy, right? With Ice Cube, Easy, right? Public Enemy. They had songs like Fuck the Police. They wasn't just saying fuck the police to say fuck the police. It's because of the brutality that we were going through. They were fighting back through the music and encouraging and energizing our people to stand up for ourselves, to report these things. You get what I'm saying? So you denigrate all of that when you put this under a federal legislation, when you make it a federal task force. This will now start being controlled, because this is the first step. When government comes inside of anything that we would like to say is free world. Think about hip hop. Think about music. Think about people creating things with their hand. It's free, right? It's free. Think about it. You can rap You can make you a TikTok page. You can make you a Snapchat. You can make you a Facebook page, and you can just hit record. You can just hit record, and it's free. It's gonna come a time where they're already doing it with Slim Thug and what's the other? I think Slim Thug and someone else with the RICO charges, where they're now already controlling your speech. We understand that hip hop and music, period, falls into that kind of fantasy, fiction sort of category. You can't take what they're saying, even if you believe they're saying they're committing crimes. And we haven't had black bootlicks that are coming out supporting that. And matter of fact, they're trying to be persecuted. Black woman, I forget her name. And this is just the first way they're trying to control it. Okay. I'm done. I'm done with the hip hop task force. I covered it. I'm done with it. So I want to point some things out to you. Okay. We're going to go through this very quickly. Did the Senate vote on the immigration bill? They basically stated here that Wednesday doing procedural vote following opposition from the House, GOP presidential candidate Donald Trump, and said they had passed in Congress, but the will have dramatically changed immigration law for the first time in decades. Then there's something that Joe Manchin pointed out: 2.5 million migrant encounters in a single year, including 300,000 in December 2023 alone. 300,000 people came to the border in December alone. Okay. It says an average of 10,000 encounters per day at the southern border in December, the vast majority of whom are quickly released inside of the country. I pointed this out a couple of months ago. 26,700 pounds of fentanyl seized at the border in 2023 alone. So I also did a video, family, how I was pointing out how the government and state and local governments were painting black people at the face of the fentanyl dealers as well as the fentanyl users. I started seeing all of these random stories on all these different news sites showing black people doing this and black people doing that, and black people are the face of the retail theft, and black people. And I'm just like, ho. We don't even do fentanyl like that. I said, that's not, you're going to get your onesies and twosies here and there, but that's not something we do. And I'm not encouraging no illegal drugs, okay? I'm not encouraging that. But the point here is, if we don't call these things our family, this is another reason why they would try to deny reparations. Well, we give them money, they're going to get strung out on fentanyl, like they was back in the 80s with crack. That's where we are, family. Oh, yeah, I told you. I'm going to tell the truth. So let's dive right into this. Let's first break down the different, levels and positions that they have in a Mexican drug cartel. You got the Falcons, what are the lowest people on a totem pole, the hitmen. Okay, they're the armed members of the cartel, the lieutenants. They're the second highest position in the cartel. And then you have the drug lords. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Being a military guy, you got a platoon leader, assistant platoon leader, some squad leaders. I got you. That's what all this is about. But that's the breakdown of the Mexican cartel. And I just wanted to point that out to you very quickly, because they have been portraying this narrative in media that we are the ones controlling fentanyl. And everybody knows, you trace it. I traced it back to China. That's where everybody else is tracing it back to. But that's being funneled through Mexico through cartels. So, of course, he probably can explain it a lot better than me. So let's listen in on this really quickly, fam. Let's listen in this. Bring some insight to the conversation.
In California, about 1 million fentanyl-laced pills were seized during a raid near Los Angeles. They were taken from the home of someone's home linked to Mexican traffickers. The pills have an estimated value of at least $15 million. Time now for a look at your morning weather.
All right. Okay. That was very quick. Because I don't want to bore you here too long, fam. I just want to break it down. Okay. And you get back to your regular scheduled programs. Okay. Here's something else. They stated here that we tracked levels of organized crime in Mexico on the basis of 4 sub-indicators: extortion, kidnapping and human trafficking, retail drug crimes, and major organized crime offenses. Major offenses include federal drug trafficking crimes. Keyword trafficking. Keyword trafficking, family. Keyword trafficking here. Because where they're trafficking the drugs to? They're trafficking them to the U.S. Okay? It says committed by 3 or more people, and they're basically saying cartels. That's what they're saying. And look at the uptick here. Look at the uptick throughout the years when Joe Biden got in office. I'm just pointing it out, okay? I'm just pointing out. Listen, it's just a correlation, okay? I'm just telling the truth. Anyway, so we look at the uptick in the retail drug sales, especially in 2022, where the mass caravans was coming into America. All of this has to do with illegal immigration. All this has to do with the undermining of black people. See, I think a lot of times when people believe that people are going layers thick and breaking it down and analyze it, people are like, oh, it started to sound like a conspiracy theory that they're doing all of this against black folk. This is why they are allowing these other people in the country. Then my question would be, then why are they doing that? Not to eradicate, not to neglect. And when we become a so insignificant number where we don't have political power in this country, where do we go from there? We're not going to even have a voice. We don't have large sums of money. The only thing that we have that is of value is our vote. Because whoever black people vote for, that's who wins the presidency. It's been that way for a very long time. And here's another thing. If majority or a great percentage of black people decide not to vote, then guess what happens? The other person win in happenstance. That's what essentially occurs. So at the end of the day, this is one of our last chances to how I'll test to have that political prowess and that power chip. And that's why I'm voting couch 2024, fam. So even though I don't like coming here, but a lot of times they do have some good information to prove a particular part by showing, actual information. So I do agree with that. But of course, I don't trust none of these news agencies, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, you name it. I just wanted to point that out.
That's what you do when you have a lot of tourists. It's gross and it's horrible. On this point, I think that finding out that there are Mexican cartels behind some of this makes me think that maybe there's hope that we could figure out a way to do something about it. So the state attorneys general are banding together and they're like, let's go after it. But also they need the help of the retailers. The retailers don't want to be looted like this either. But the problem
I don't even think we need to hear the rest of that, because what she's stating is that Mexican cartels are running organized retail theft. And what have the news been showing, family? What have the news been showing? The news have been showing black folk as the face of all these crimes, as the face of all these particular crimes. And it is time out for it. I'm just pointing these things out because it's important, family. Very important. They're going to stop labeling us in these categories, which we are not. Because when I look at the fentanyl crisis, that's destroying America alone. And look where it's coming from. It's coming from China, by the way, and being trafficked into the country by the way of Mexican cartels and others. And then when I look at fentanyl, it's like it's a synthetic opioid that's 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine. What they used to give soldiers on the battlefield to numb their pain. So it's 50 to 100 times more potent than that. And it's all over American streets and destroying lives, just as well as crack and cocaine. But see, this time, there's enough information, there's enough fact, there's enough people reporting on this, so you can't paint this as a black problem, as they have been in mass media in some regards. So the poison is not coming from the black community this time. And now everybody's not trying to turn a blind eye because it's not a predominantly black drug that is really affecting and crushing and demolishing communities that are non-black. Now America wants to pay attention. Now an American wants to pay attention to who is really doing it so we can go after them. You see, when it was internal, they pointed on us, which it wasn't. We know them 3-letter federal organizations are the ones who just gave away kilos of crack cocaine, and they took a small profit and propped some of our people up who were destitute and poor, and knew that that would crush the Black unified body. They knew that would crush the Black unified body, the foundation of Black Americans. Have you noticed they're always doing something to us? Right? We got proof. We have proof that 3-letter agencies, 4-letter agencies are the ones that fueled, transported, trafficked drugs inside of America and literally went to Black neighborhoods for them to sell them to their own people. And they told them, do not sell outside of the Black community. Do not sell out of the Black neighborhoods. It's all documented, family. It's all documented. Okay? And so now we have this retail crisis that they also painted like we're the ones behind it, and we're absolutely not. This retail crisis, you see all these groups of people, a lot of them have been masked up, and yeah, have some Black people have done it? Yes, of course. You know, Jerome seeing everybody going inside of the Gucci store. Jerome gonna go in there, grab him a little handbag or wallet, a watch or something like that. But again, when we look into it, this has also been an issue in America. And it had just started, okay? It just started. I want y'all to think about that. What occurred? What is the comparison, the correlation here? What occurred where we have mass retail thefts where people in gangs or large groups, large entourages are going in and just snatching and grabbing? Whenever we ever did that in Black America, whenever we ever did that, family, we've never done that. And somebody said, well, you guys just came up with a new method to steal stuff and get stuff for free. Really? That's interesting. Okay. If that's how you feel, I totally understand if that's how you feel. So I wonder what the news is now finding out or already knew, but just putting it out because it's affecting them. Okay.
Global criminal empires to include mass theft operations, targeting big box stores, luxury retail brands, and small businesses, then selling the stolen goods online and laundering the profits through Chinese brokers. The same transnational criminal organizations facilitating the greatest ever human smuggling operation across the U.S.-Mexico border over the past 2 years and simultaneously causing the fentanyl epidemic in America now have a hand in organized retail crime. These organized theft rings are not merely shoplifters. They are part of a larger band of criminals infiltrating every state. HSI wrote in a June press release, in contrast to shoplifters, organized theft groups engage in large-scale thefts which rely on teams, boosters who steal goods from major retail stores, cleaners who disguise the origins of stolen merchandise, fencers who resell products through brick-and-mortar fronts and major e-commerce websites, and professional money launderers who funnel illicit profits to criminals orchestrating schemes. Since the pandemic, the public and private sectors have seen huge upticks in organized retail crime, which coincide with coronavirus lockdowns, rioting and looting following the George Floyd protest, and some liberal cities loosening punishments on crimes like theft. The nation's largest retail lobbying group, the National Retail Federation, said stores and retailers reported the number of organized retail crime incidents increased by an average of 26.5% between 2020 and 2021. Over the past year, countless videos of employees being assaulted, even killed by thieves at stores like Home Depot and Lululemon have gone viral. 2 male employees at Home Depot were killed in separate incidents over the past year. Jeff Razor was fatally assaulted when the 83-year-old attempted to ask a man walking out of the store with a cart full of merchandise for a receipt. A NRF survey in May concluded nearly 2 in 3 of all consumers are worried about gang-led shoplifting in their community. In cities, 75% of consumers were concerned.
Very interesting. Very interesting, family. Very interesting. See, these are the things that are not being called out, and they said it's about organized crimes. It's by cartels. See, no one's just making this stuff up. So why they continue to show Black people when they show their news clipping? That's the only question that I have. And then you don't see things like this dealing with fentanyl. You don't. You don't see they're the ones who are essentially trafficking drugs into the U.S. You just see our faces. I'm gonna keep moving here. Now, are you guys familiar with this? Let me make sure I'm in the right order here, family. I think I'm out of order here. Give me 1 second here. We got there too quick. we got there too quick, and we ain't talking about those guys just yet. We're not talking about those guys just yet. But I have some other things I wanted to show you here very quickly, I promise you. All right. So right here, Mexican drug cartels are behind the surge in retail thefts. And it says infiltrating the world of retail theft, targeting everything from big box stores to luxury brands. And we kind of went over this already with the video clip, okay? And this is, they're pretty petty shoplifters, but a well-oiled criminal machinery infiltrating every American state. Have you guys been hearing about the Sonora cartel up in Montana? How they're doing retail thefts, organization rings, as well as fentanyl rings. Have you guys heard about that in Montana? Look those stories up, how the Sinaloa cartel is infiltrating Montana. It's a good story, by the way. So this is the pretty much back up where we were already, family, okay? So let's jump to the retail theft very quickly, okay? Because I know we're going back and forth here. Just stay with me. When it comes to the retail theft, it states this: the investigation of the Department of Homeland Security is actively looking into Mexican, Central American, and South American-based cartels involved in organized retail theft that is plaguing the U.S. retailers. It goes on to state that certain transitional criminal organizations across the Western Hemisphere are either affiliated with or involved in the multi-billion-dollar retail crime pandemic, according to Michael Crow, special agent in charge of Homeland Security. Okay? Mexican cartels have become well known for smuggling people outside of the U.S. over the border, as well as for trafficking all types of illicit narcotics, including fentanyl, into the country. Make sure you guys see this. But these and other criminal groups around the world, such as Romania and Chile, have expanded their operation to include other money-making initiatives, including crimes in the retail environment. Big or small organized crime has hit the retail industry hard and contributed to the $112 billion total in retail losses in 2022. We keep coming up to 2022, up from $94 billion in 2021, according to FBI and the Department of Homeland Defense. So again, we point back to illegal immigration, we point back to Mexican cartels. But there's other crimes in America that has made way and pissed off a lot of Americans, especially, I know they hit Texas pretty hard. A lot of these catalytic converter crimes that has been occurring, family, they hit Texas hard. I'm pretty sure it's US-wide, but this one I can't really blame on. This one I really can't blame on Mexican cartels. I'm pretty sure they probably have some hand in it, or even illegal immigration, but I'm pretty sure they have people who are doing it as well. But a lot of these crimes has come from a certain community. Okay? A certain community right here. Let me see if I can get this out the way. They won't let me raise this page anymore. What is going on with this page right here? Okay, but coming from a certain community. Let me read some of these names. The towing company Catalytic Converter. Okay. I'm hitting all types of buttons. Give me a second. It states here that the towing company's Catalytic Converter theft ring busted DA Michael Williams. Okay, you see how the fellow looks. Michael Bruce, Eric Simpson, Kevin Schwartz, Patrick Hopkins, Lisa Davos, Anthony Davos, Michael Evangelist, and Gary Shirley. Okay, that's a unique name, Gary Shirley, whatever. But this whole entire trucking company, that's why I was trying to get this story up. Let me see if I can get this story up. Oh, here it is. It's a Pennsylvania tow truck business, TWI Towing, was busted for alleged running a multi-million-dollar organized crime enterprise that specialized in the theft of catalytic converters throughout the Delaware, Raleigh region area. Okay? They talking about tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars, family. Okay? But then you'll have pictures like this when you look up fentanyl, you look up the retail crisis. I started seeing black people Look at this right here. Operation of the Fence. And they're just showing groups of black people like we're the face of it, but we're saying this is organized crime. Who do you think has a bigger arm in it? Who do you think has a bigger part in it? You're always going to have people from every community that are doing these $5 and $10 petty crimes. You're going to have that. They're nickel and diamond, but they're not the ones who are supplying the country. They're not the, the plug, so to speak. They're the ones on the street. But this is how they paint one particular people as a criminal class. And at the same time, replacing us or trying to for political power so we can become obsolete. And here's the thing. If we become obsolete, family, if we become obsolete, our fight for reparation will weaken. And they know that. And they know that. They would rather take on illegal people in the country, raising crime, raising the amount of drugs that are being trafficked inside of America, doing all sorts of kidnappings and sexual misconduct. And we got proof. We have statistics to prove that. They would rather do that than pay us what we're owed. Boy, I tell you, that's when somebody really don't want to pay you. Look, 2.5 million you guys came in last year. We need another 2.5 million this year. We ain't trying to pay y'all nothing. But also there's another group out there, and I know you guys heard about this, that within the Asian community, they're pointing out that there are all these rings of Chinese as well as Vietnamese people who are part of this Cadillac converter ring, okay? This states that 5 arrests in a bust of Cadillac converter theft ring in Pearland area, police say. And you have Henry Pham, Tram Lee, and Tranley, probably sisters. You have Lee Kwok and Timothy Ngo, okay, or Nijo. I don't know, family. I'm not trying to butcher their names, but here are the culprits. And this is just one group out of many, okay? I just pointed out one group to give you an example, okay? I didn't want to stay here all day before you guys and just ramble on. I think this is proof enough, is it not? I think this is proof enough. Proof enough. Okay, for some reason, fam, we might can't see that. It won't let me play that video all of a sudden. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can refresh this. See if they populate this back, or this is just a picture. All right. See if we can get this on. All right. We're not going to worry about that, fam. We're going to move on. Maybe something is occurring. I don't know. All right. Texas alleged Cadillac converter theft ring busted. Items stolen were worth $2.7 million. These people out here making money. Or should I say stealing money by the way of Cadillac converters. And I believe that what makes Cadillac converters so valuable is they have platinum in them, right? Not copper. They have platinum inside of Cadillac converters. So, I mean, I can understand one of our Pookie or Ray Rays stealing about 3 or 4 Cadillac converters. You know, you probably go melt it down, get them a little chain. But they're talking about 2.7 million. Nah, family, that's organized. Okay. More than 1,000 stolen Cadillac converters worth 2.7 million have been found in Pearland and Fresno. Okay. According to a source, police also recover $840,000 in cash, 5 vehicles, and a forklift. I want you to think about that. So if the only thing you guys are going around and selling Cadillac converters, and you also have a stash of $840,000, now it's either one or two things. You guys have quote unquote day jobs that you're masking every day, maybe a nail shop, maybe a corner store, something like that. Or you're actually living off some of the cash that you've been trading in for the Cadillac converters, right? But either way, your life is so great because of organized crime by the way of the Asian community, by the way of Chinese and Vietnamese, okay? And I'm not being divisive, family. I'm just pointing out the truth. I see, here's what I hate. When other groups of people point out black people, well, it was a black guy that did this and a black guy that did that. And soon as we do it, YouTube. Soon as we do it, freedom of speech, YouTube. They limit my video. Oh, strike it, whatever they do. Send me out. We don't know if we can post this one. I'm like, what'd I say? It's think that Officers arrested 5 people in connection to the ring, 39 to 59 years of age. Okay. Let me see if they pointed out. Okay. Okay. Now, before we go any further here, family, thank you all for joining me here today. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it because you have pictures like this that just get me absolutely upset because from what I can tell, I'm looking at body composition, right? I can't really look at the color because people come in all shades, but I don't know if these people are black or Hispanic, but I think it doesn't matter. Why did I say that? It doesn't matter, family, because it doesn't matter what you show the rest of the world. They have this negative image of foundational black Americans in this country. I can point out and give them all the statistics and all the facts, but in the back of their mind, because of the indoctrination of white supremacy, they can't just get past that majority of black people are humane, ethical, and moral, and damn right good people. We'll give you the shirt off our back. We might not have enough food to feed our family, but we'll even give you a morsel of that. We'll give you a small portion of that as well. That is how much loving we are. And that's what people don't understand. So I won't stand for us. I won't stand for anyone trying to make foundational black Americans look less than what they are. We are intelligent, beautiful people. Some of the most warm-hearted, loving people that you will ever come into contact with. So when they paint us, when they label us, when they title us, when they give a narrative and perspective about us, show our greatness. Show Moses West, the one who created the machine, the atmospheric machine that captures water out of the air and transform that into potable drinking water. Show that. Won't you show that? Show Mark Dean, the one who made the gigahertz chip and the color monitor. Show that. Shit. Show Ben Carson, only doctor to successfully, or first doctor to successfully separate Siamese twins. Show that. Show that. Show Marion Croak, the one who made voice over internet protocol. Show that. Show Marion Van Brown, the one who created the home defense system up in New York first. That's how you got your ring cam. Show that. That's what I want you to show. That's what I want you to show. Show Khalid Muhammad and what he say to white supremacy. Show that. Show Huey Newton, Marcus Garvey. Shit, I'll even go to Africa on you. Show Julius Malema. Show that. That's what they won't show. Be one.